How's it going? Hope everyone's having a great day. Woo, man. Cutting it close, cutting it close. Oh, I'm off by 1 minute. Man. Whew. So, yeah, welcome everyone. Man, a whole bunch of people. Aaron, Family AK's here. Chip, ET Prepping. Jacob Vesser, right on. Gravender was here early too. Man, you all are showing up. And here I am late by 1 minute. Whew. Man, I've been running around crazy because, well, a lot of you guys know I take care of my mom and stuff, but man, our bushes and stuff is like growing out of control. And my mom's church offered to do it last spring, and they never got back to me. And then at like 1 o'clock, 3 guys showed up and said that the minister announced it and they want to help out. And I was like, okay, you know, and got them all set up and stuff. I was like, but after 3 o'clock, if I don't answer anything, don't be offended because I'm doing a live stream. So every half an hour I went out and made sure to thank them because, man, I'm telling you, the bushes were going up to the roof. I mean, they were, and you could barely, like, we got a front walkway, you know, the mailman comes, and man, it's like a jungle just to get up to the front steps. So, but then I realized it was like 2:55. I'm like, oh man. Luckily at 2 o'clock I had everything set up and all that stuff. But you know, I just wanted to double check everything and all that stuff. But whoo! Hey, what's up, Bootleg Blades? Bootleg Blades, you gotta keep that bush trimmed. Yeah, man. Oh man. Oh man. Aaron, man, I noticed you were out on the West Coast, man. Looked like you had a great time. So glad to have you back. Glad you made it home safely and all that. And yeah, man. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know, when I've been doing my builds, like when I'm doing my camera stuff for YouTube, I have to put my headphones in because you know, copyright strikes. But on Instagram, I'm just letting let my stereo blast. And man, I've been getting all nostalgic back to the 80s and 90s, you know, back when I tried to skate. You know, if you watch Aaron on Instagram, Family AK, that man can skate, you know. But me, you know, I skated, and, you know, I even built like a half pipe in my backyard and stuff like that. But yeah, I wasn't half the skater most of these guys are, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of like DC bands, you know, because I'm from DC, like, you know, Minor Threat and Henry Rollins and stuff, but, you know, Rancid and all that stuff. But anyway, that's a tangent I wasn't even planning on getting to. So, let me get on the first topic. My #1 goal of YouTube has been accomplished. If anyone has watched me for a long time, you guys have known, like, AVE is like the king of all, you know, all my video watching. You know, there's like This Old Tony and Alex Steele and all them guys. But AVE has always been on the top of the charts. And when I started making videos, I was like, man, I got to get him to watch my videos. And, you know, there's Patreon where you pay, you know, a creator like $5 a month or $10 a month or a couple bucks, $1. You know, I actually have a Patreon, but I'm waiting until like I get to like 5,000 subscribers to start pushing it on people if they want to support me monthly. But I digress. Ever since AVE started his Patreon, I've been one of his Patreon supporter. Hey, what's up, Heath? Glad to see you going. He said he skated a little when he was younger. Or I'm paraphrasing because I can't read. Excuse me. So anyway, yeah, if you go back and watch my older videos, excuse me, went down the wrong way. My old videos, before I started making shirts, all I wore was AVE shirts. And now half of them are ruined. And like 2 months ago, he's like, I made a new shirt and I'm giving a few away. And I contacted him and I was like, man, you know, I'd love to have one of those shirts because the first shirt he ever made was this double-sided shirt. And it's got these holes in it and, you know, epoxy on it and stuff. I was like, I got to lay that first shirt to rest. And can you send me another one? And he sent me this one free. Now, you'll never see me wear this in the shop except maybe on a live stream because he sent it to me and, you know, I don't want to ruin it. And if you look at all my other shirts, they all got epoxy on them and holes in them and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. One of the things I asked him last month, I was like, man, do you think it would be possible to watch one of my videos? You know, I've been working on making videos and knife making, and I know you're into tools and all that stuff. And he didn't get back to me for a month, but when he got back to me, he's like, man, your videos look great. You've made a lot of progress from your earlier videos. So the number one goal of YouTube was accomplished. AVE watched my videos. But then the second part of that blew my mind. I must have asked him to watch an older video, and he never got back to me because they were, you know, the music was all loud and all that stuff. But man, that means he's watched 2 of my videos. Yeah, man. Now I gotta set some new goals. You know, I've had this old Tony commenting on my videos and come watch my videos and stuff. And Alex Steele, I talk to every once in a while on Instagram, and Simple Little Life and all that good stuff. You know, we have conversations back and forth. But man, AVE, the king of all, the king of tools. Now I will say, like 2 years ago, maybe not even, I asked him, I was like, man, let me send you a knife. Let me send you one of my knives. And he's like, I don't take anything from anybody. Just as a general rule, he says, you know, I just don't do that because then people want to start sending me stuff and expecting things in return and all that. And I thanked him for his time and all that. And I was like, man, it really sucks that YouTube has become so corrupt that, you know, people can't even help you out because you know they're going to want something in return. And it's true. You know, it's just like that guy with the Damascus a few weeks ago. Not Laws, but the other guy. You know, when he's like, oh, let me send you the better Damascus and all that. And then he's like, well, can you mention me here? You know, if you notice, I haven't mentioned his name. Anyone else that asks me to mention them or talk about something, I have no problem. But when someone's like, and, you know, it's not that he offered me something, because if you want to offer me something and send me something, I have no problem mentioning you. But when, you know, I went into that a couple weeks back. If you start putting other people's stuff down, then yeah, I turn off. Bootleg Blade, that's cool that AVE got back to you and he's on top of the list. Yeah, AVE, man, man, I've watched him for like 5 years. Been a Patreon for 5 years and stuff, but I should put, you know, that knife thing holds up, you know, for whatever you want it. Because, you know, this was 2 years ago, so my knife making probably wasn't that nice, and, you know, this and that, and but the fact that he watched 2 videos of mine, you know, and I appreciate, you know, if you can, the whole thing, if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all. So I never knew he watched the first video, but I appreciate him holding his tongue and not being like, man, but to be like, man, you have improved so much. Your videos are great job and all that stuff, man. And you know what? It was the day after I blew up my VFD. So it was like, man, I blew up that VFD and I was feeling all down on myself. And I was just like, oh man, I can't believe I did that. And the next day AVE returns and says that. And it's just like, man, karma is the one thing I believe in. Because, man, I'll tell you what, when I bought this new VFD, I was thinking, man, there's things I could do where I could send the old one back to make it look like the new one and get a free VFD. And I was like, nah, you know, there's ways you can do it to make it feasible. And oh man, there would be $400, but it would come back and get me. And I know it would, you know, and I always try to, you know, I believe in God and stuff, but I also believe in karma. Karma is like the ultimate. Because I've watched people, you know, I've had friends that have gone to jail, and I've talked about that before and all that, and does bad stuff, and they wanted me to drive them around and stuff, and it's just like, man, it's so tempting to do stuff like that, but it's like, you know it's going to come back to you somehow. You know, now, I'm not a saint. I don't live a perfect life, you know. There's a lot of bad things in my life and stuff, but I try to make sure to make them just a little bit better, and, you know. Woo! I don't think either of those topics were on my, well, the AVE thing was on my list, but, so, you know, the lessons learned, I'll get into that because, man, this is going to apply to everything, you know. I'm always talking about, oh, I'm learning from my mistakes, but am I really in the overall scheme of things? Because you know what? I might have blown that VFD and stuff like that, and I learned, okay, you got to check things for this. But I'm sure in a couple of weeks, in another month, there'll be another idea I get into my head, and I'll be like, let's try this. Let's see if this works. And, I fail or pass. So, it's like, do you learn from your, I guess, I don't know. I learned from some mistakes, like what not to do with that specific, I can't talk, specific thing. But man, I'm always going to push the boundaries and be like, with knife making, people are always like, you have to do it this way. Oh, you can't etch it that way. You can't do it this way. Oh, you have to hand sand. You can't just do everything off the grinder. Well, then why am I getting a mirror off the grinder? And things like that. So I don't know if I'm ever going to learn that lesson of precaution. I guess that's the lesson. Be precautious of what you do. Because I go headstrong into everything and then lick my wounds after. That VFD, I was planning on buying another VFD next month. Like I said, I had to call my friend and call in a few favors. But I thought, hey man, if I could save $400 and teach people how to do this, then bam. So whatever it's going to cost to repair the VFD and at least I got 2 grinders. So I'll have the one grinder up and I'm not, before I just took the 1 horsepower off my disc grinder and used it, which that taught me a lesson. That taught me a lesson that everyone's like, oh, you have to have a 2 horsepower motor. You can't use anything less than a 2 horsepower motor. I put my 1 horsepower motor on the grinder and didn't even notice a difference. So, and it's just these things. It's like you see all these people telling you what you can and can't do, or, and maybe something has failed for them, so they don't want to try it again or push it to a different spot or see why it failed or this or that, and, in the video I was blaming the switch, but honestly, at the end, I think I took responsibility. I don't know 3-phase. I know 1-phase electronics. I can wire electronics all day and replace boards and stuff like that. In fact, my computer's, maybe I shouldn't get on that rant, but yeah, my computer's been having problems. I had to diagnose it. It took me 3 hours to diagnose it, and Microsoft just said, send it back to the manufacturer or whatever. It's like, I'm the manufacturer. I built it. Tell me what I need to do, So, but anyway, I digress. But I don't know 3-phase. And, I've seen a lot of guys that use switches. In fact, Bootleg Blades said he has 3 motors running off of the switches. And, it's, and I was reading and it's like, man, the more it's like, never put a switch between the motor and the VFD. But maybe if you have a 3-phase switch or something that handles 3-phase, because the current is going to be different. All the VFD is doing is taking 110 and converting it to 3-phase, 220. So, it's going to be a whole different current. The current's going to be different, the way everything's maxed, so your switch might not work. But these heavy duty switches, which that one said it was heavy duty, but obviously it wasn't. But one thing I've seen a lot of guys talking about doing, and I almost consider doing this, is getting NEMA 4 plugs. Like you get 2 female plugs and 1 male plug. And you run the male plug to the VFD, and then you run the 2 females to each motor, 1 female to one motor and 1 female to another motor. And then you just plug the VFD into that motor when you want that grinder to work, unplug it and plug it in, So it's like you're the manual switch. Instead of having a switch to throw, you're the switch by unplugging and plugging it in. And I was going to try that, but it's like, I've already sent the other one back and all that stuff. Chip says he loves his 1 horsepower motor. Yeah. So, hey, what's up, Stalking Wolf? See, I'm on my rant and rave today because, I was getting all caught up and everything, so I just sat down and started spewing. But yeah, so, I guess the one lesson maybe I'll learn from this whole thing is when I have an idea, go and study more about it. But see, that's where I kind of am on the fence too. Because I used to study all these forums about knife making, and they tell you don't do this, don't do that. Oh, this won't work, and this will work. And 75% of the time it's wrong. So even if I went and studied this, and maybe I read the wrong forum, and they're like, yeah, I use switches on everything. I use these switches. I use this switches. And it's, it's kind of like the gamble in the dark. So, I don't know if that's a lesson or not. Oh, bootleg blades. I have two switches. One selects the grinder, and the other switch selects either the vertical or horizontal disc grinder. Right on. Yeah. Something, I don't know. And it was funny because the more I read about these switches and VFDs, it's like, 3 things like never do it. And then 4 guys are like, I did it. And it's like, it's like that 50-50, It's a heavy 50-50, obviously, by what happened to me. I rolled the dice and I lost $400. Man. I didn't even get the good looking girls and all that in Vegas. I just rolled the dice and lost. Bootleg blades, yeah, you should do other videos on everything, because I love watching your videos, man. And stuff on building forges. I love watching building videos, so yeah, I'm always telling you. And summer's almost over, so you don't have the golf excuse anymore. Oh, man. Oh, by the way, last week I was talking about that Discord. That thing on Discord. I still don't understand Discord, but maybe some of you younger viewers, if there's any younger guys watching that love Discord, it's called Blade Spectrum, and it's an invite only. But on Instagram, it's Zombie Knives or Zombie Joe or Fury Ice, I guess, is on Instagram, and they'll invite you into Discord and stuff. I've tried to go on there, and I just, man, it's over my head. I don't understand how to navigate around it and all that and stuff, but I guess that's what happens when you get old. Oh, man. I'm going to have to go to the eye doctor, too, because my eyes are getting real bad. And I think it's because I keep switching out these readers. These aren't prescriptions. These are just readers I bought. And I've noticed I keep going up and up and up. And now I got, on my computer, I've got, 4 pairs of glasses. One's for watching that are low, and then when I have to read, I have to put the higher ones on. And so I'm going to have to bite them. Just like my arm, man, I don't know what it is about being stubborn, but it's like, I never got my arm taken care of until it was too late. And now it's like, man, I got to go get my eyes taken care of before that's too late. So, yeah. So, man, I got a couple of funny topics. Well, they're not funny, but they're kind of irritating topics, but also something I'm kind of, I guess not impressed is the word. I can't think of the word. But anyway, lately a lot of these door-to-door salesmen have been coming by my house, like selling windows or selling bugs, bug repellent and all these plans. And it's like, it's fine. I understand you're trying to make a living. But the one thing that drives me crazy about these door-to-door people is, they'll say, hey, do you need this? And you'll say, oh, no, thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck with ever. And then you go to close the door and they keep talking. But this is this, and they start pointing out everything that's wrong with this. And it's like, the last one was like Anderson Windows. And the lady's like, but I checked your windows and this is this and this needs this and this. And if you don't take care of the wood, this. I was like, look, I was a carpenter for 15 years. I know what needs to be done. I just don't have the money or the time right now. So, and she just kept talking. I had to just close the door in her face. And it's like, and that's the kind of sales thing that I worry about becoming. I need to learn sales, but man, that pushy salesman crap is just like, it makes you not want to open the door at all. Anytime I hear the door ring, You know, because I got a front door and a back door. Most people that know me come to the back door. So anytime I hear the ringer, I go right to the back door. And if no one's there, I kind of sneak back into my room because I don't want to see what's going, unless I'm expecting a package or something, you know. Because it's just like, you know, when someone says no thank you or whatever, I understand you could sell a little bit more. But there's a time where you got to realize, hey, they don't want it anymore, you know. And that's that balance I need to find. So, but the other thing that really gets me is these the people, the charities online, you know. I mean, not online, on phone. You know, they call you on your phone and they're asking for donations. And the thing is, these are people that I would gladly give donations to. But you learn, once you give a donation to one of these people, all of a sudden your phone is blowing up. And they all swear, we don't give out your information. Well, then how did you get my information? And why there's like 10 more people calling me? Now, you know, I see people when I go shopping at the grocery store. And they're out there standing in the heat, you know, struggling. And I have no problem going back in the store, getting 30, 40 bucks and being like, here. And in fact, it just happened Saturday. That's what made me think about it. And they're like, you know, hey, can we stop you? And this is about, you know, teaching kids about suicide and all that. And I only had 20 bucks on me. I gave them 20 bucks. I was like, hold on. And I went back in and got 20 bucks more. And I was like, man, thank you for standing out in the heat. And thank you for doing this job. And you know, but people, man, when people call me on the phone, I'm just like, I'm busy. And I hang up. And I asked them that. I was like, I'll give you this money, but can I give it to you anonymously? Like, I don't want any receipt. I don't want my name anywhere. I just want to give you the money and walk away. Because, man, it's just like, you know, Shepard's, I mean, he says, cable, so send flyers. So one company sends flyers, the mail every day, and sends a guy out every 3 months to the door. And yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, man. You know, and that's the thing, man. Junk mail, it just goes right in the trash. And then these people knocking, it's like, look, you know. The one thing I did is every year we get these big old water bugs, you know, big old cockroaches. So when the guy showed up from like Apex Bug Control or something, I was like, fine, you know, 50 bucks or whatever. And he did the worst job ever. In fact, I called him that day and I canceled everything. I was like, man, what he does, I do what he does every year, you know? So, and it's like, after that, you know, a few other people came to the door and it's like, no. You know, and I don't like being a dick to people. But you have to. It's like the only way, and it's like that's what they're expecting you to do, open the door and be a complete, you know, a-hole. And so they want to keep talking. It's just like, bam, slam the door in the face, you know? And I wasn't taught to be that way, you know. I'm taught to be a courteous person, and you know. In fact, you know, when that one fillet knife I made for my friend, you know, I hadn't seen him in 20 years, 25 years or something. You know, I went and I gave him the knife and we talked for about 20 minutes. And after that, I was like, look, man, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not a very social person or good, you know. It's like I haven't seen you in 20 years. It's awesome seeing you now and catching up. But it's like, what do you say? Hey, so how has the last 20 years of your life gone? You know, it's like, and I told him that. It's like, man, I don't want to be rude or anything, and this has been an awesome visit, and I'm glad to see you're doing well and all that, and thanks for the knife. But, man, I'm not much for small talk, and, yeah, man. But, you know, keep in touch and stuff like that. But other than that, you know, what do you talk to people about you haven't seen in 20 years, you know? Hey, remember that time back in 1980 when we went to this party? And, yeah, it's like, Gravinder says, get a signboard out of your house. Don't disturb. Yeah, you know, that's what a lot of people say. In fact, when I called up that bug place, I was reading some of the reviews, which I should have read the reviews before I bought the service, but I was like, yeah, they'll come in and do a good job or whatever. You know, for some reason I have this faith in people that they'll do the right thing, but, you know, it's a 50-50 thing on there. And I was reading all these things where it's like, we have a big sign in the window that says no soliciting, and people still knock. And, so you would think stuff like that would make a difference, but they don't care. They'll just be like, oh, sorry, I didn't see it. And, and I think that's the part of sales that really holds me back from pushing my stuff more and more, because, man, I don't want to become that person. I don't want to get good at sales to where I don't listen to what someone's saying, or I don't, hear them saying no thank you or this. In fact, the guys that came to cut the bushes today, I was like, let me try something. And I took 3 or 4 of my knives out there, and I was like, if you guys know anyone that's into knives or stuff like that, and I showed them my knives, they kind of looked at me like, okay, but it's that kind of breaking the ice thing that I'm trying to learn, which is another one of my topics, because, man, I should have realized this whole thing about being introverted 25 years ago, because, man, lately, like, I'll go to the grocery store, I'll go to UPS to send something, and, the examples I'm going to give right now are like 25, 28-year-old girls, but I've been doing it to everyone I see I talk to, or I try to break the ice, and start up. But lately I've been noticing, I'll start talking to these, pretty young girls, and I'll get them giggling and smiling and laughing. Now, they could be thinking, man, this dude's crazy, just laugh so he'll go away. Which, it could be the case. But they could also just be smiling and laughing because, someone's taking interest in them and making them laugh. Because, making someone laugh is a dopamine and it makes you feel good. So, and it's like, man, but now it doesn't matter. I ain't got no teeth. My arms all busted and, all that stuff. So, these 28-year-old girls ain't going to be looking at this busted old man. But 25 years ago, it would have been a whole different story. In fact, the lady that comes and washes my mom, she was sick, so she's been sending her sister, which is like 25 years old. And I was showing her some of my old shows, like playing live and singing live. And there's this one, if you go way back, if you go to my YouTube channel and type in 4th Class Citizen, this was after Daryl died and all that stuff. So I didn't play guitar, but I sang. And I'm wearing like overalls with no shirt, like one belt hanging off the overalls, and I'm just screaming into the mic and stuff. And she's like, man, I bet you got all the girls back then. And it's like, well, no, because I didn't know how to talk to people. I wanted everyone to come to me. That's why I did all this stuff, so everyone would just come to me. So it's like, man. Then I was thinking, it's like, man, 25 years ago, I could have started doing all this, and I could have started talking to women, and I could have gotten married and became a computer guy and had a Mercedes and all this stuff. And I would worry about the scratches on my Mercedes, and no one touched my Mercedes. And then my wife could have divorced me, and I could have been miserable and just hated life and have a mortgage and in debt over my head. And man, so it's like, you got to think of things. It's like, that's the one thing about regret. It's like, man, if I could do it over, would it be better, or could I just make it completely worse? It's, being married might have been great for a few years, but, it could have been really bad too. I have a lot of friends that got married young, and, I don't think any of them are still married. But anyway, it's the whole thing, So, you get involved in money, you got all this money to spend and all these things to have, and you got this computer job, and then you hate your life, you hate your job, you hate everything you do, and then you're miserable. So, which side of the coin are you on? Now, was my life the last, after Daryl died, the last 25, and in fact, 3 days ago, it had been 23 years since Daryl died. He died August 20-something. I don't know. But, yeah, man, 23 years since he died. His sister was looking through all my photos of him and stuff on Facebook. And I had forgotten it had been that long. It's like, woof, 23 years, man. So, but all the different choices you make in life and all the misery you go through, I don't think it matters what you do. There's going to be good things and there's going to be bad things in life. And man, look at now, of course, maybe I wouldn't have had the heart surgery and my arm wouldn't be messed up and all this stuff, but who knows what would have happened. But, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about regret and all that, and it's like, man, I've actually, here comes Conceited Dave. Conceited Dave is coming out right now, I warn you. I was thinking last night, I was like, man, if someone wrote a book about my life, well, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years, but man, my life would have been an inspiration story from, it'd be like one of those movies of the week or whatever, because man, I went to school, I got a degree as a computer thing, I did the right thing and all that, and then I focused all on my band and all that, and put all my heart and soul into my band until my guitarist died, and then the next 15 years I didn't do anything except build houses and just be living misery. And then, after that, I came out, I started playing music a little bit more, and then everything started going good a little bit and all that, and then bam, I had heart surgery, got an infection, my arm got all messed up, had to have my heart valve replaced, and that just made me see what life's all about, and now I've become a knife maker, a YouTuber. It's like, man, that would make a good story, huh? The only problem is I have to die for someone to write it, right? Oh, man. Now, I am kind of serious about that, but it's just like, man, the thing is, we all have that story, and what made me start thinking about it, and I haven't talked about like Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon and all them a long time, but there's an old video that Casey made about how to make YouTube videos, and he's like, there's a beginning, and then there's a controversy or a climax or some big thing that has to be overcome, and then there's a result and, a victory. And I was like, man, and I started thinking back through my life, and it's like, man, all the struggles and all the bad choices I made and all this and that, and it's like, and now I've like come out to a place, I'm not on top. When I say I'm on top, I mean a personal achievement, where I'm working harder than I've ever done before because I want to work harder, not because I have to work harder, if that makes sense. So, it's not like I'm saying, I'm not better than anybody, but I am a better me than I was. If that puts the conceitedness back in place, and we all have these stories. We all have these stories where, this is, because when you're in your 20s, man, you do stupid things, or you do all the right things and then realize how stupid, just because you're doing everything that people want you to do. That's why I got my degree as a computer person, because I was good at computers and all that stuff. And everyone's like, oh man, if you get into computers, you'll make all the money, and when you're a kid hearing, oh, you'll make all the money, that sounds like the right choice. Where I should have gone to music school, but then, my passion and love of life might have became a job that I hated. So, it's all that give and take thing. So you never know. You really never know what choices are going to make your best life. So, whew, man. Oh, here's a topic from last week that I forgot to hit on, but if everyone knows about the guy that like got me into knife making, like my good friend that got me into knife making. See, he doesn't really make a lot of knives, but he buys a lot of knives, and he buys a lot of awesome knives. So he knows a lot about knives. And every once in a while, he'll come over and be like, oh, I got this design I want to make, and and he was the one that, I'm sitting there struggling for like eight months just to get a bevel looking half decent. He came over and made his thing look perfect after like 2 tries. I was like, and I was so jealous. It's like, and he's like, man, you just got to take your time. But he also knew knives and how, but still, every once in a while he'll come over. Like he came over to finish some kydex from a knife he made a few months ago. And he's like, what do you think about this kydex and stuff? And so, and now it's like the tables are turned because I've been, making knives and stuff so much. So he'll start asking me questions, which is like, yes, You know, it's like win. Man, am I sounding conceited this live stream or not? But I used to say, me and my friends used to say this thing. It's like, we're not conceited, we're convinced. Oh, man. But anyway, so, you know, he's like, look at this. And he's showing me this Kydex. And one of the holes was just off. Like, say these two holes, one was just a teeny bit off. And I'm looking at it, I was like, man, this one looks, and he's like, oh, you found it. So it's like, man, I finally get to critique some of his stuff. Because he's the guy that, you know, I'd show him a knife that I thought was perfect, and he would just tear it apart. And he's also the guy that on my birthday came over and was like, man, this looks awesome, this looks amazing. And I was like, come on, man, it's my birthday, you don't have to be saying that stuff. But, yeah, man. Man, these knives are almost finished. All I got to do is sharpen them. Oh, looks like I got rust on it. Oh, okay. That scared me. I must have put that one in wet. Whew, I thought that was rust. But anyway, these need to be sharpened, but yeah, nice and tight. As you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably saw all this. I'm going to leave this one out and make sure I dry this one out. I don't want that blade rusting for sure. The only one, man, I swear, this Damascus, it must be karma. You know, Lowe's gave me this. I had problems with the handles. You know, I had problems. I blacked it out again. And now I went to do the Kydex. And out of all 5 knives, this one came out bad. I cut it back too short. And it wouldn't lock in. I didn't even finish it. It's like, oh, man. I got it for free, so now it's giving me the most trouble. Remember, I was having all these problems with the handles and stuff, but yeah, so I got some Kydex coming like Tuesday. I'll have to do that one. But all these other ones, man, came out real nice. Boom. Yeah. And this one was a challenge too, because the way it is right here with the it's too dark in here. The way it is with that handle right there, it can only click in like right there. So it's like that. I had to cut. That's why I had to cut this all the way back like that, so it can click in. It's just got that little bit of click right there, just that little bit. But man, listen to that. Whew. Yeah, man. So today I'll be sharpening them. I had to go back over the bevels. This one's, I don't know. I'm on the fence about redoing this one, because this one has that forward choil in it, so you can grip it up like that, you know, for like sharpening and stuff, or like whittling, I guess, or you can hold it back here. But it says it has that, but it's got kind of a click, but I don't know, it seems good. The thing is, people, and you know, this is the thing that's in Scott L, hey, how's it going, man? I'm sorry, guys. I've just been sitting here talking and talking. Oh, man. Yeah, Chip, it's been a long story. Oh, no. His See, that's what happens. I go back and I try to read the comments and I get lost. Oh, Chip says he's been married twice and divorced twice, the same woman. Now she's renting a room 4 feet from him. He'll never marry again. Yeah. But you're doing the right thing if you're taking, you know, someone you loved in, and I don't know. I kind of know the situation, but hey, you know, that's the thing. The people we love the most are the hardest to get along with too. So, but yeah. So the thing is, this is a good sheath and it's tight. But I'm sure if now I'm on camera. Yesterday I did that and it fell out. So, and that's usually my test, but we'll see. Maybe this won't be good enough. Because I'm sure, see, I like to hang my knives upside down from my belt. So if I'm walking and they fall, come on, if they fall, there it goes. Then that's not a good thing. Oh, man. But yeah. Oh, I already showed that one. And then this last one. This one, when I did the logo on it, it kind of splotched up. So I had to redo that stone wash. But man, I'm glad I did, because it came out real nice. There we go. See, I always talk about that with the Damascus and stuff. I love where you're like looking at a knife and you can't really see it, and then you turn it in the right direction. It's like, wow, look at all that stuff popping out. Come on, Heath, stop doing that. Man, I appreciate you, Heath, but man. I'll tell you what, Heath, that'll be payment for that knife you want me to work on with you. How about that? Oh, I didn't even check if I broke the tip. I got carpet on the floor. I broke the carpet. These aren't sharpened yet anyway. So, yeah. Whew. At least I got one grinder back up and running. So, that's what I did all this on. I did this all on the reader. So, yeah, man. You know, it's like, I wonder how long it'll be till I just stop using that KMG altogether. But, you know, I realize there's a lot of things. Like, the reader's a little bit too high. You know, I have to stand on that platform, which is okay. And it's over in the corner. And, you know, nostalgia and sentimental reasons, I got to use my KMG. But, you know, I'm sure I'll use them both. Well, actually, what would be nice is, you know, I could keep one horizontal and one vertical. But I can also keep, like, a wheel on one and a platen on the other and go back and forth, you know. Keep them, well, now I can keep them both running since I'll have two VFDs. So I guess a little bit of stuff a little bit of good did come out of blowing up my VFD. I got my second one 2 or 3 weeks earlier. But now I gotta wait 2 or 3 weeks later because I don't know how long it's gonna take them to fix it. Last time it took them, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, but it was under warranty, so they were probably slower. Now that they're gonna charge me, it'll probably be a lot faster. Michael Tesson Handmade, hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you around here in a couple weeks. No, Heath says sounds like he owes me more. No, you know, Heath, man, you've done a lot for me, and it's back and forth, so that's the good thing about real good friends, you know. It's like back and forth stuff. And Chip's like that too. Chip's always asking me questions and stuff, and always asking for stuff, but he's always like the guy buying knives off me and shirts off me and all that stuff. And it's like, and a lot of times I feel bad. It's like, oh man, I don't want to sell them, you know. So like that last time I sent him one of those little Kiridashis for free, and it's like, man, you know, he's always supported me so much that I gotta give him something because, you know. And I tried not to. It's funny because Chip loves sharpening knives, so I out of habit I've got to sharpen my stuff. But it's like, man, I got. Oh man, but I definitely appreciate it. I'm not trying to single people out and say who's better or not. And, you know, all you guys that come here every week, I really appreciate, and, you know, love having conversations with and stuff like that, and all the support you give me and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to single people out and say, oh, I do this for this person because of this or that. But I feel bad for being like, oh yeah, this person is this and this person is this and this, but you know. So, oh man. I will say, a lot of you guys, when you're like on Instagram and stuff, or all this stuff, when I watch your progress, man, that's the real reward. That's the one thing. It's like, man, it's like, you know, I see you guys making these knives and you're asking all these questions, and also a few months later, man, I see this improvement, and it's like, you know, conceited Dave again. It's like, man, I want to take credit for that, you know, for giving you the guidance. You guys did the hard work, and it means so much to me that you guys, you know, follow my channel and watch my videos and all that stuff, and you know, actually take it and do stuff with it. You know, money's an important thing. I say this a lot. You need money to live. But man, rewards like watching you guys, like Aaron, you know, Family AK, watching him make some of his stuff, whew, man, the knives he makes is amazing, you know. And, you know, the thing is, some of you guys have like different names, like on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram and you're following me and I'm not following you back, let me know. because you know, the thing with Instagram, you know, you get a lot of things and it'll disappear. So if I don't know who you are, I don't know to be like, hey, or watch your progress. Because I do like, you know, I've talked about this a lot. You know, I want to build a community. I want this to be a whole community of knife makers and people that are passionate about what they like doing. Even if you're not a knife maker, but you have your passions about stuff, you know, let me know, because I like watching people's progressions. And, you know, there's stuff out there, you know, like Bootleg Blades makes all those forgers and those things and all the stuff he knows. I love watching his videos because it's stuff I don't know. You know, all his tool things and all stuff like that. So it's great. Yeah. Chip just said, and Aaron's artwork, man, that man's got some patience. You know, all those crystals and stuff he makes. Woo! I couldn't do it. You know, I hate hand sanding. Sitting there taking time to work on crystals and all that stuff. Whew, man, better man than me for sure. Oh, man. All right, I think I've hit on my topics for today. And a few that I didn't plan on hitting, and talked about myself even more. And oh, man. I need a little button or a little sign, be like, when I'm talking about myself, you know, how I'm just joking. You know, sometimes I am, and sometimes these are just crazy thoughts in my head. Now, we all got to remember there's that fine line between genius and crazy, and I cross it all the time. Because, most of the time I'm crazy. Sometimes I come up with a few gems that are genius, though. See? More me. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. But you gotta find humor in yourself. See, that's the thing, too. I might talk about the ego things and all that, but I also talk about how goofy and how much of an idiot I am, too. Because, man, I do a lot of idiotic things. So, believe me, it's that whole karma and yin and yang thing. You got to know your strengths and you got to know your weaknesses. All right. I just wish I knew him 25 years ago. Oh, man. Thanks, guys, for coming by, man. I really appreciate it. I'm not wearing one of my shirts, but on my website, the website's the first link down below. I got shirts. I got knives. Soon I'll have 10 knives instead of 4. And all that good stuff. Man, I hope I say it enough, but I really appreciate all you people coming. You know, every week we get to have a couple laughs, all that stuff. I don't drink, or I'd say a couple beers, but, you know, you guys want to have a couple beers while I'm sitting here being a goofball. That's fine, too. So, all right. I think I'm going to call it there. Yeah, go check out the website, or Amazon links and stuff like that are down below. Heath, you got to stop giving me so much money. You already give me enough of other stuff. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great week and all that. And as always, take it easy.